Hey everyone, Regan here from Coral Sea Property, and I'm just shooting this video because one of the things that you might be surprised to learn is the absolute vast majority of real estate agencies do not have a documented process when it comes to maintenance. And what that results in for the end user is things like, oh, this maintenance request was reported, but it was never actioned, or they went ahead and organized this job, but never got my approval. Or every time a maintenance request is reported by my tenants, my property manager just sends it to me and asks me what I want to do about it. And it results in a pretty crappy end experience for the landlord and also for the tenant. Now, at Coral Sea Property, we're really big on documenting our systems and processes because we want to make sure that they are, in fact, the best for our clients, that they're repeatable and that it's consistent. So you know what you're going to get along each stage of the property management lifecycle. And so this video is just showing you exactly about our documented maintenance process and why we do it this specific way. So if we have a look, I'm going to zoom in here all the way up to the very top. This is a very big flow chart, and we're going to focus on these two sections just here and here. But the very top of our maintenance flow chart is essentially the maintenance request is received. It's either been reported by the tenant, it's been identified by the property manager during a inspection, or it could even be something the landlord has reported or identified as wanting to get done. And then the very first thing we do is determine, is this an emergency requiring an immediate situation? Because over here on the left-hand side, we've got our regular maintenance, qualifying and pre-admin. Then over here on our right-hand side, we have emergency maintenance and what needs to happen there. Now, emergency maintenance is very important for two reasons. Firstly, there are obligations as the landlord to get things done. So let's say there's a crackling power point or a serious like burst water pipe or a blocked toilet and there's no other toilet in the house, needs to be treated as an emergency. And the way we go about that maintenance request needs to be different. If it is a regular non-emergency maintenance request, then it's going to go down this flow here. And the very first thing we're going to do is work out, do we understand the job fully? What's the issue? Where is it located? What's caused this problem? When did the issue first get noticed? And do we have evidence, so photos or videos, supporting the issue itself? And assuming yes, all good, then we are going to move down this flow down this way. But if we don't, we're actually going to ask the tenants for further details so that we can make a decision that is based on your best interest. What's the job? What's the best way to address it? Is it a genuine issue or not? We'll also let you know as a quick FYI, hey, by the way, this is the issue that's been reported. This is what we're doing to troubleshoot it, because we're really big on not providing you a problem at Coral Sea. We don't want to just send you, hey, this is the problem that's been reported. What do you want us to do? We will always endeavour to come to you with this is the problem. This is the research. Here's the troubleshooting. We've already got costs and we've already got a couple of prices for you, and this is the best course of action. Because our job is to do the work for you. Your job is to make the decision. It's our job to present those decisions on a silver platter in front of you with our own recommendation and advice. Once we've got all the information we need to fully understand the job, we're going to make sure we have photos of the problem, and sometimes we'll even look at the last routine inspection. Because we use 360-degree cameras for our routine inspections, super easy for us to go through and be like, okay, great, this is the spot where that issue is. Here's a couple of screen grabs so that we know the problem. Next is, does it relate to previously completed work? The last thing that you want as a landlord is to spend $300, $500, $1,000 on something and it breaks again in 6 months' time, and the question at least hasn't been asked, well, is this something that can be done under warranty? Is this something that you really need to be paying for, or is it a warranty item? So does it relate to previously completed work? Yes. Are we going to send the tradespeople back and we follow this process? Let's say it doesn't. Is this genuine maintenance responsibility? So as a landlord, you are responsible for making sure your property remains in good repair and order. And this means that you have to repair and maintain any fixtures or services supplied with the property that a tenant would reasonably expect. But you don't need to install upgrades. You don't need to upgrade fittings or fixtures unless you're replacing something that's broken. So is it genuinely a maintenance responsibility? A massive amount of frustrated landlords come to me from other agencies saying, oh, my property manager keeps putting forward these random maintenance requests that I feel like I have to do that I don't know if I do or not. And it turns out some of them are just the tenant's wish list on things that they would have loved the property to come with, but they chose to rent a property that didn't have that. So we separate that out. Are there any alternatives to completing the work? Is there a better way for us to go about fixing this? Then we come up with a solution and we have an expected cost limit. So to do that, the way that we come up with that is by calling our trades, sending photos to them, researching different options, actually doing the work that you would do if this was your own investment property to make sure that we're coming up with the best option. We also email the tenants an update too. And so in this email to you, we're actually giving you all these details, the problem, the location, what's likely caused it, photos, the tradespeople that we've spoken to and what our proposed course of action is. Now, one of the things that we don't like doing is sending tradespeople out to do lots and lots of little quotes when it's much easier for us to gather the information for them, send it to them, say, hey, what do you think the problem is? What do you think it's going to be going to cost, a best case or worst case scenario? And then once we have that information, actually sending them out with an approved spend limit so that they can go out there and get the work done. Because a lot of our trades are very high quality. We've worked with them for a number of years, but they're also super busy as well. And just like anyone, they are going to prioritize the work that they're going to get paid for. And if we do just want to send them out to diagnose an issue, then they will usually charge a call out fee, especially if you don't go ahead with their quoted solution. We also update the tenants and keep them updated. And then it kind of goes through this little feedback loop of we follow up again, did you reply? We follow up again, give you a bit of a deadline. Because at the end of the day, you're paying us to manage your property and to come up with these solutions and recommendations for you. If you're busy and can't get back to us or you just trust us to do these things we need to, then we will just do it for you. That's what you pay us to do. That's what having a proactive and accountable property manager is, and that's why you want to be a hands-off landlord. So essentially, then once it has been approved, we will allocate the job to one of our tradespeople. We will let you know that we've allocated the job to our tradespeople. We will update the job due date for 4 days' time to make sure that it's been booked in by the tradesperson. Again, a lot of property managers will just send a job request off. They won't tell the tenant, they won't tell the landlord, they won't follow up with the trade. In 3 weeks' time, when all of a sudden the kitchen is completely flooded and the tradesperson says, oh, I didn't see the work order, I didn't know I was meant to go fix that leaking pipe. Well, the only person ending up with the bill at the end of the day is you, the landlord. So you're paying us to manage that and to be proactive in that process. And that's this follow-up. The job has been booked. Great. Confirm with the tenants and landlords just so everyone knows it's been booked. The job hasn't been booked in. Contact the tradespeople again. Make sure they've got the work order. Update the due date. Check it again. Once we know the job has been booked, we will update the due date for a couple of days after that to make sure that the tradesperson attended, to gather feedback from the tenants, get any supplementary photos and stuff we need to make sure the job has actually been processed. And that moves us then down into this post-job administration stage. Essentially, has the job been attended to? Do we have an invoice? Yes, great. Review the invoice. Are there further recommendations or work required? No. We'll mark the job as complete. We'll confirm with the tenants to make sure that they confirm that the job has been done. We'll email you the full details about the job, the information we have, the invoice, what's occurred. And we will process the admin to bill the bill it from your portfolio, to essentially pay that tradesperson from your rental funds when you have them. If there is additional work required, is it immediate work? So let's say, for example, a blocked pipe and they weren't able to dislodge the blockage, then that requires immediate work. A blocked pipe where they were able to dislodge the blockage, but they believe that there are roots in the pipe and we may need further investigation or work done there, future suggestion. Regardless of what it is, we will action that and make sure that it gets done and it's been rectified. So again, a lot of property managers will just process the bill and say, yep, call it a day. And then in 3 months' time, when the problem happens again and it comes down to, well, why is it happening again? Oh, well, actually, we knew about this, but we never were bothered to read the invoice or never were bothered to check it. So goes through this workflow, job's finished, call, add it as a bill, process it, thank the tradespeople, ensure the job's complete, and close the job off. If it's immediate work that's needed, it kind of links all the way back up to the top into this section in here. Now, just to explain maintenance and emergency maintenance specifically, so emergency maintenance is defined under the Act. It's any one of these things or a combination of these things. Things like serious storm, fire or impact damage, flooding or serious flood damage, a serious roof leak, any kind of gas leak, a failure or breakdown of an essential service or appliance on the premises for hot water cooking, where the tenant cannot have hot showers or cannot cook, a fault or damage that makes the premises unsafe or insecure, a fault or damage likely to injure a person, all these kind of things. When it's an emergency maintenance, we deal with it a little bit differently. The very first thing we do is we update the tenants, and then we immediately call a trade member, staff member, Google, ChatGPT, we all use it, to get an estimate of what the job is going to cost. Next thing we do is inform you straight away and explain that it's an emergency maintenance item. This is what we believe it's going to cost, and this is what the legislation says about it. We issue the work order to the tradesperson, and we also message them to make sure they got it straight away. And we make sure that the tenants and the tradespeople have each other's contact details so they can self-resolve that problem. We check with the tenants, they've provided contact details, make notes on what you've done, and then it gets raised to either the senior property manager or the operations manager or myself as the business owner. Followed up the next day. Is the problem resolved? Great, yes. We need to gather further details from the tradesperson, from the tenant, to provide you those updates and what's happened. Has it not been resolved? Well, it follows back in this feedback loop that you can see just here. Is there further follow-up or trade attendance that's required if they've just done an emergency fix? If there is, then it would then transfer into a non-emergency based maintenance job. So that's how we deal with emergency maintenance. The really key thing here is making sure that we know what the problem is, we know what the cost is going to be, and we're providing an immediate solution. You don't want to be one of those landlords that finds out there's a water leak at the property. You don't do anything for a period of 6 weeks because you're waiting for your insurance or something. Tenant gets hurt and all of a sudden you are liable, because it is your obligation as the landlord to make sure your property is safe to occupy. That obligation does not say anything about whether there is potential insurance claims or whether it's someone else's responsibility to cover the cost of it. At the fundamental level, it's your responsibility as the landlord to make sure your property is in good repair and safe, and emergency maintenance is addressed immediately. And it's much better that we address that proactively than your tenant goes and calls their uncle that's got a dodgy plumbing business and goes and spends 4 weeks rent getting the plumbing issue fixed. It's better that we are on top of it and we are as proactively as possible in that circumstance dealing with it. Then there are some other administrative steps for like ongoing services, so smoke alarm compliance, pool servicing, that kind of stuff. But that is the fundamentals of our maintenance process. So if you're a landlord thinking about what's it like to have a maintenance request with Coral Sea, how's it going to work, that is it. That is how our process works. And yeah, I hope we can look after your property as well using this documented process and system one day too. Take care.